Hey players, I wanted to make this a video because it's just easier to talk about it than write about it. So I want to give you a very specific formula for responding to negative online reviews. So this is specifically for small business owners, people who have a listing on, usually on Google. So Google Business, if you go to google.com/business, you absolutely should have a profile set up there. And those are the results that come up in Google Maps. Well, having those listings on Google or Yelp or Facebook makes you prone to not just excellent reviews, but to negative reviews. And any small business owner that's had those listings up for a while has dealt with this. And it's terrible. It's terrible because it wrecks your energy and motivation, and it totally sidetracks you and you have an emotional response, right? Because if you're a small business owner, this business is like your kid. It's like, oh, it's so emotional. It's like somebody messing with your kid. It really feels like that. And I have, done PR for businesses for over 10 years, and I've developed an exact response formula for these negative reviews. And I use it in my business, I use it in my client's business. And I want to teach it to you today. So this is based on Apple. If you walk into the Apple store, as I do sometimes, like up in a huff because something's gone wrong with my device and I want it fixed, and I'm walking in there with an agenda and I'm going to tell them why their devices are not good enough. I'll walk out of there with like $1,000 in new products because their customer service is so good, so fast, and they totally disarm me. So what I did was hunted online for their employee training manual for those geniuses at the Genius store, Genius Bar, and found out the exact formula that they use for disarming you and helping you fall in love with the brand again. So listen to this whole thing, please. And please always draft your response and have someone proofread it. So the pregame to doing this is 1, wait until you're not totally activated emotionally, okay, to make the response, because when you're activated emotionally, you're going to respond passive aggressively. It always happens. Whenever I read my clients' own responses and they're upset, they always get passive aggressive, and it's not cute. It's not a good look. It makes you look bad. Your response to the negative review is public, and it teaches people how you deal with your customers. And if it looks like you hate or resent your customers, you're not going to get new customers. Yes, you should respond to those negative reviews because this is your chance to tell your side of the story, but you have to tell it in a customer service friendly way. It is not your customer's fault if you're not running your business properly. That's a hard thing to hear, but if you made a mistake, you need to own up to it. So that's the other thing. And then the last pregame to this formula is find somebody to proofread your response, and not another business owner and not an employee, somebody objective. It's that friend who's going to tell you what you don't want to hear. That's the person who can proofread it. If you have to pay somebody, it's worth it, because if you end up losing a new customer because your response was terrible, then you've lost real money, right? So it's worth it to pay somebody to proof it for you. Okay, here's the exact formula. 3 paragraphs. First paragraph, identify with the feeling. People want to be heard. They want to feel important. You can identify with the feeling they're having without agreeing with them. This helps disarm the person and show that you're a human being to the other people reading this. So if somebody is very upset, that first paragraph can simply be, I hear that you're upset, or that sounds very frustrating, or even, I'm sorry you were so frustrated by this experience. Not, I'm sorry if you were frustrated. That's not a real apology. Don't use the words I'm sorry ever unless you are sincerely sorry and making a real apology. Saying I'm sorry if you were is not a real apology. We all know this from bullshit apologies from politicians and celebrities. Don't do that. So first paragraph again is identify with the feeling. It can be 1 short sentence. Next paragraph, state the facts without trying to be all tricky and passive aggressive, okay? So the facts of your policy. So first paragraph might be, that sounds really frustrating. I can hear that you're really frustrated. Identify with feeling. Second paragraph is restating the facts. Our membership agreement, which you signed, clearly states that 30 days notice are required for cancellations. You canceled 2 days before your payment was due and your credit card expired. Now, you wouldn't want to put somebody's financials on blast like that online, but the way you could say it would be maybe like, our membership agreement clearly states that cancellations require 30 days notice. We emailed you about this directly twice, but you did not respond. Now, you don't need to get into somebody's personal financials. I think keep it as impersonal as possible. Try to not use the word you if possible. What's another example? Our hostess tells us that when you arrived, she communicated that there was a 30-minute wait and that your table came up in 35 minutes, which is a 5-minute difference. That's just stating the facts. That's all that is, right? Okay. The last paragraph is what actions can resolve it or make it right. So this is where you can get a little bit like, excuse me, but this is where you say something like, we sincerely hope you come back to our cafe and we're happy to communicate with you in person about any problems you're experiencing. So you're giving them an action step, a way to deal with it in the future, but you're not putting it on them if you made the mistake. Another example of that last paragraph would be, we sincerely appreciate your business, and if you have any recommendations on how we can make our membership policies more clear, here is my direct email address. Or even, if you need more clarity on the statistics we cite on our website, please email the head of statistics at blah, blah, blah. So this shows that you're listening. It shows that you're not passive aggressive. It shows that you're fair, that you enforce your policies in a fair, transparent, and equal way. You're not playing favorites. All right. What do I need to recap? I'm just going to recap the whole thing. Okay. Before you write it, make sure the emotion has dissipated. Have a proofreader. And what was the other one? Oh, yeah, you have to actually respond to the review. Sorry, I'm recording this live because I feel so passionately. And then the formula is, first paragraph, identify with the feeling. That doesn't mean you're agreeing with their take on what happened. It just means you're hearing them and they feel heard. Second paragraph, state facts. Don't put them on blast, state facts. Third paragraph, potential actions to resolve for them to take in the future. So then you're just putting it back on in their court. They can't respond back to the review, but you're not really communicating to that individual person because probably you don't even want them for your customer anymore. You're communicating to future customers that you are responsible, that you are fair, that you are transparent, and that you're compassionate and you're a human being. All right. And that's what's really important in this element of business. I know reviews aren't always fair. I know that Google and Yelp and Facebook will not take down reviews even when somebody like maybe didn't even come to your business. I know that people are unreasonable, but guess what? I've been unreasonable in the past. You've been unreasonable in the past. We've all been that way. And unfortunately, the way that some people take it out is by leaving bad reviews. I wish it weren't that way. I wish there were controls for that, but this is just the world we find ourselves in. And as somebody who owns a small business and has chosen entrepreneurship or small business ownership, you have to deal with this. It's part of what you signed up for. All right. If you need any more PR, marketing, communications advice, I hope that you will come visit us at pregamehq.com. And this segment is part of my course, DIY PR, and you can get more information about it at pregamehq.com. But I hope that you watch this and please share it with another small business owner. That's it. Game on.